So today we're going to cover 3 modules. Okay, 3 modules as usual, like any other program. The first few modules tend to be the basic fundamental and tend to be a bit dry and monotonous. So as usual, but I try to make it lively, relatable, so that you won't find it that dry and boring. In fact, teaching AOM can be a very boring thing to do. Okay, to teach as well as to learn. Why? Because if you have read 易经 before, you need a pail beside you because you tend to vomit blood as you read because you don't understand anything at all. It's so chim. The word is chim. Okay, so bear with me. If you find that it's too chim for you, like I say, certain maybe your circle of competence in the subject matter may not be there yet, but just bear with me. I try to make it lively and interesting and relatable to daily living. Okay, so there'll be 3 modules. Number 1 is ABC of a life journey, a very broad perspective. And module 2 is seeing beyond the frame, which is very important module. And number 3 is talking about 易经 and the universal principles of daily living. Okay. So talking about module 1, the ABC of a life journey, a broad perspective. To kickstart module 1, I've invited a speaker who's going to give us a broad perspective about a life journey. He's an Indian monk. For refresher, for alumni, I'm sure you have listened to him before. So I'm going to pull out his video, okay, and then you listen to him, and then we can discuss about what he said. Give me a minute. Let me pull out the video.
Are looking for answers of what would happen with us, isn't it? One who's born will be dead. One who's dead will be born. We have no control.
Can you hear?
I didn't have any control over how I was born and where I was born. I didn't have any control over what my looks were, what family I was born in, what country I was born in, what socio-economic class I was born in. I had no control over it. And I must say that we truly have no control over when life ends and how we die. Just cardinal facts of life. But there's something that we have control over which can make life beautiful. Therefore, I generally say life is a journey between 2 alphabets, B and D, where B stands for birth and D stands for death. What is in control is between the alphabets B and D is an alphabet called C. Between B and D is a C, and that C is choice. We can all learn to choose. As we live our lives, we can all learn to choose, not to prove, but to improve.
You all got the message? Type in the chat box what you get from the video. Type in the chat box what you get from the video. If I will address your question, you're asking whether AOM, is it about philosophy? I will address the question later on. Let me clear this part here. What is your take of this video? Just type a quick, simple one-liner. If say free will, okay, free will. Helen say we can learn not to choose, but to improve. Okay. Actually, it's not to choose, learn not to choose. It's not to prove, but to improve. We have to choose somehow. We have to choose. Okay, life is all about choices. Okay, Fiona said we have choices and we should improve our life. Yes, we should. Very good point. We should improve our life through our choices that we make. This is life. This is what 易经 is trying to tell us. And this is what this video is trying to tell us. Because the moment we are born into this world, there's 2 things that's always fixed. When you are born and when you will pass on. These 2 are fixed. Okay? Since you can't control this, we can only control what goes in between. And what goes in between is one very important thing called choice. So how we want to live our choice will depend on how we make the choices. Okay, so if you want to improve your life, make the right choices. So in this video, okay, in this video, the key points are here listed out in these slides. Life is a journey between birth and death, which is true. Okay, it's a journey, and you can't control these two, which I've already mentioned, and the Indian monk also mentioned. Now, what we are in control is called choice. So what we want to learn is learn to choose, right? Not to react. A lot of people tend to react to stimuli. Stimuli means anything, any triggers, anything, any events, anything that happen to you right in front of you, or what you hear, what you feel, what you see, you react. We tend to react, which is very natural. All right. But I Ching says, learn not to react, but to respond. How to do that? That is why I Ching give us a way how to not to react but to respond, which I will be showing you later on. Okay, we can't change the situation. You know, COVID come. This is a situation, but we can change or we can choose our response to that situation. So basically, what it means here is we want to learn how to choose, and we always choose to respond. So Alan say, step back when facing challenges, make decision, move on, and stay alive. Haha. Yes, that's right. Okay, very good point. Now back to Eve question about AOM. Is it about philosophy? Good question. I'll give you. Let me pull out the white screen. I'll give you a broad perspective. Now, a lot of people want to learn I Ching. I'm sure a lot of people are interested to learn and master I Ching. Now, the path to learn I Ching, there are many ways. Okay, there are many ways. Now, let me just briefly explain to you what are the three ways. Okay, what are the three ways? Number one is through observation. Okay, observation. Now, observation means through things that happen, you observe. And we know that, I Ching says that whatever happened, it always shows up as a phenomenal first. Phenomenal. That's why people, ancient people, they look at the sky, they look at the sun, they look at the stars, and can tell you what's going to happen. They look at phenomenal. And in Chinese, it's called xiang. Okay, xiang. Right? Now, there's second way to learn I Ching, which is through the numeric energy. Okay, numeric energy called Su, the numeric energy, or the what call that, numerology lah, in short. Okay, numerology. And that's why people learn I Ching prediction lah, learn 奇门遁甲 啦, learn I Ching feng shui lah. All those topics comes under this Su part. Okay, this Su part. And there's a third way to learn I Ching is through the Li part. Okay, Li part. So Li part AOM is the right platform for you to learn I Ching through the Li part. And the thing about learning I Ching is that these three are all interrelated. Xiang, Su, Li are all interrelated. Because behind every xiang, okay, behind every xiang, every event, every phenomenal, every impression, every symbolism, there is a number, a numeric energy. For example, you look at an old man, you can tell whether he's 60 years old or 20 years old, because the impression that you get from this old man, behind the impression of a wrinkled skin, it tells a number, which you say, oh, maybe this is 60 years old, 70 years old, can't be 20 years old. Straight away from the xiang, it tells a number. Now, behind every numeric energy, there is a logic or a reasoning or a principle. And these li usually are the unchanging principle, which is constant. Okay, unchanging principle. So the changes can take place here. Okay, the changes can take place here. All right. Don't care what are the changes that take place. The cloud can suddenly become black. The sun can suddenly come down. Don't care what are all those changes. All we want to go is go behind the scene, look at the unchanging principle, which is here. So a lot of practitioners concentrate on the changing part, and they fail to understand the unchanging portion. So today in the AOM trilogy series, we are learning the principle part. You can call it reasoning. Okay, you can call it reasoning, li, I thought the 道理, you know 道理. In Chinese called 道理. And this 道理 means what? What do you call it? 道. This 道, okay, it means the principles of the universe. 道 means yin and yang, means the universe. So 道理 means the principle of the universe. You get my point, Eve and everyone else? So in AOM, you're embarking on a different path, the lesser walk path. I would say the lesser walk path. Why? Because a lot of practitioners, they get bored learning through this path. Okay, they get bored. But this is the path I say. Even Kongzi also said that, which I fully agree. If you want to know the changes, you must know the Li first as the foundation, as the building block. So today, you're going to learn the building block, and please learn it well. Okay, once you have learned this AOM well, and when you go on to your eating prediction, you find that you are seeing the quad in a different new light altogether. Is that okay, If? Does that answer your question? Right? So in life, okay, it's never the situation that is the problem. It is the way you choose to view the situation. Okay, so remember this. If you want to learn how to respond, right? Eating already tell us in life is never the situation that's the problem. It is the way you choose to view it. If say, but Li cannot change, right, master? Yes, the Li cannot change. For example, we know the sun come out from the east, set in the west. This is the 道理. We cannot change, say that tomorrow, suka, the sun come out from the west and set in the east. We can't. This is the unchanging law. And everything goes by this unchanging law. The moment the unchanging law change, we can expect a whole new world to come in already. You get my point? All right. So this Li part, that a lot of unchanging law inside. Okay. So it's just like governing a country. There's something called the statute, and there's something called the rules. Okay. And rules is a subset of the statute. So rules give you more flexibility. That means the stat board is able to change certain part of the rules, but they must all comply. Whatever they change, they must comply back to the statute. So statute is like the, like the Li lah, or the unchanging law lah, something like that. Okay. So, for example, if I tweak this statement a bit, I would say in COVID-19, it's never the situation. It's never COVID-19 that's the problem. It is the way we choose to view this COVID-19 situation. For example, during COVID-19, this period, these 2 years, some prosper, some went bankrupt, some struggle, and some struggle, but later on, is able to pivot and then become better and stronger. So it's never the situation. It's always the way we choose to view. If we see it as an opportunity, we will always find opportunities somewhere. If we see challenges, we will always find challenges. Okay, so this is something like this. Okay, so for example, Russian-Ukraine war. This is a situation. It's not the Russia-Ukraine war that's a situation. It's the way we choose to view it. If Russia say, I'm doing this because of survival, they are right. But if NATO say they are fighting against Russia because they are defending the spirit of democracy, they are right also. Okay, so who are right, who are wrong, right? If say actually I love COVID, can work from home, haha. Okay, so now no more. Now it's 100% work at office. So in short, I just recap again. In life, it's never, for example, I tweak again. In life, it's never the joke that is the problem. It is the way you choose to view it. Now, why I say the joke? Okay, I give you a very recent example. Anybody know about this incident? That during one award ceremony, Chris Rock was the MC, and then he cracked a joke on his wife, Will Smith's wife, and then Will Smith was not happy, and then he went up stage, give Chris Rock a tight slap. Okay, so The joke was just the situation. And how Will Smith viewed that joke will lead him to either react or to respond. So, what do you think? Will Smith is reacting or Will Smith is responding to the situation? What do you think? Okay, he is reacting. Darren, thank you. Thank you, Eve. He is reacting. So remember this. Yi Jing says, Jennifer, thank you, reacting. So we all agree that he's reacting. Now remember this. Yi Jing says, the five element thing, right? Um, when there is a cause, there's an effect. I think no need Yi Jing to tell us lah. I think everyone will tell us there's a cause and effect. So every choice that you make, every reaction that you make, every response that you make, there is a corresponding consequence. Okay, so by reacting in this way, I mean going upstage and give Chris Rock a slap, there is a consequence of that choice. And what's the consequence? This was reported on 1st April that Will Smith resigned from the Film Academy. That's number one. Okay, he had to resign because of that slap, so-called. And next, this was reported on 8 April. Will Smith was banned from Oscar for 10 years over the slap. So there is a consequence. So, okay, every choice has a consequence. So, for example, in this case, the situation is the joke, the reaction is the slap, and the consequences is he resigned and then he was banned. Okay, and perhaps there are even more bad consequences. So, Yi Jing says this. You want to react, you want to respond. Of course, best is you respond because when you respond, you think through first. If say, but master, if respond should be what? I don't know. They'll depend on him. Depend on him what will be his next best approach going to be because there are a lot of things on his plate which we may not know. Okay, what is at stake we do not know. At least for now, we know the stake of slapping is he has to resign from the academy and he has been banned from Oscar for 10 years. So that is at stake. Okay, so what else is at stake we don't know. Okay, so therefore everyone will have to know what is at stake by doing certain things. That means the consequences. So Yi Jing says this. The word I think is very correctly used. This word here, 无咎. Whatever choice you are about to make, you ask yourself this question and you will be safe. Can you bear the consequences of the choice you are about to make? This is what Yi Jing says. Can you bear the consequences of the choice you are about to make? And we feel that fine, I'm okay to resign, no big deal. I'm okay to be banned. Then by all means, go ahead. You get my point? Okay, by all means, go ahead for Will Smith because he felt better. He felt there's more balance by doing this. Go ahead because he won't feel regret, and he then it's called 无咎 lah. In Chinese, it's called 无咎 lah. Mean no regret of doing certain things lah. So if you can bear the consequences, go ahead. But if you can't bear, then that will be a bad choice. Simply put it, this is what Yi Jing simply put it. If say react and respond, what are the differences? Okay, good question. What's the difference between react and respond? Let me open this question to the floor. Type in your understanding of react versus respond. One quick liner will do. Type in the chat box. We can talk. We can elaborate further after that. So everyone, I need your participation. Just type in the chat box one liner. What do you think is the difference between react and respond? Alan said, react without thinking, respond with proper consideration and with no regret. Thank you. Fiona said, react is to action after knowing without much consideration and thinking. Thank you. Very good point. Very good point. Helen said, react on impulse, respond is logical and not based on fast, very immediate action. Very good point. Now, thank you for all your comments, your inputs. Now, for me, okay, if I understand Yi Jing correctly, right, I put it this way, react, like what you all have mentioned, is just reacting on impulse. Whatever comes to you, you go and do it without much thinking. Now, respond means after you have considered this question and you've decided that the next best move is still to slap Chris Rock, then that is a response. Okay, you get my point? After considering this question and you find that, okay, I can bear with the consequences of slapping him, and I find that there's no other better way than to slap him, then you go ahead. Then that will be your response. That means you already have putting in the buffer in between your angry thoughts, okay, your angry thoughts and your action. If there's no buffer in between here, then this is called react. But you put in the buffer to think about this question here, can I bear with the consequence of the choice I'm about to make? And I find that I can bear with it. I can resign. I can be banned. I don't mind. Okay. And I don't regret it. Then this is your response. Okay. This is your response. So Darren said, in my eating understanding, we respond to react, but not react to respond in the combination of both. Thank you. So as long as you have answered this question, I will call this as response. Do you all agree with me? Because you have already, very clear what's the consequences, you are able to bear with it, and you make a choice. Alan say, response is a reaction that takes into consideration the desired outcome of the interaction. Thank you very much, Alan. So basically, very similar to what I mentioned, but if I may add on, is that you have decided to say this is Uju. In eating point of view, is that your response should include the Uju inside. Okay, your best response should include the Uju inside. If say response is think before act, correct? Yes. The thing is, think what? You get my point? Everybody will know that response is to think first before you act. The thing is, think what? So I give you that concrete think what is, can you bear the consequences of the choice you're about to make? If you're okay, go ahead. Right? So basically, I Ching says, in life, the one who chooses the right response always control the game of life. Okay, I repeat this. The one who chooses the right response controls the game of life. So the two keyword here is choose, raw, respond. These two, choose your response. Very key to have a very successful life. Okay, let's take a look at this. Tie it back to I Ching. Everything comes out from nothingness. Everything starts from nothing. Nothingness means if Chris Rock never cracked that joke, it remained as nothingness. You get my point? But the moment Chris Rock decided to make that joke, the joke come out already as a Tai Chi point. And straight away, Will Smith will have two ways to do it. Either choose to react or choose to respond. Okay, react means there's no buffer time. Straight away, whatever comes to mind is being translated. The energy of the thought is being translated into action, which equal to slap. Okay, or you want to build in a buffer time here and think about that question. Can I bear the consequences? If I can bear, it's okay. Then whatever comes out will be your response. So based on whatever path you decided to take, you find that these are all your consequences, possible consequences if you react. These are all your possible consequences if you respond. Back to I Ching again. Okay, back to I Ching. So every time I always tell my client that no amount of feng shui can help if you keep making all the wrong choices. Yes, no amount of feng shui can help. You may have spent thousands and millions of dollars on feng shui remedy and enhancement, but if you keep making all the wrong choices, no, none of this can help. Okay. So, can I Ching show us how to respond? Would that be your question? Would that be your question also? Can I Ching show us how to respond? So with this, I will end module 1. Okay, because ultimately we all know already. Module 1 is actually bring us to a point to tell us we must choose to respond. Right? So stay tuned for module 2. Now, module 2 says seeing beyond the frame. Do you agree if I say that everybody see things through a frame. Do you agree with this statement? Everybody sees things through a frame.